When Ranvir was forced, Mahi had to wear a black dress even though she didn't want to. In that black dress, Mahi's fair complexion, which was slightly pinkish, was looking gorgeous. Ranvir was mesmerized by Mahi's beauty. He was thinking that she is the only hot and beautiful girl in the world. Ranvir was feeling hot inside and his throat was feeling dry. He held Mahi's hand and dragged her to the changing room. Then he came to the changing room and closed the door from inside. Mahi started getting scared. As soon as he wanted to open the door to go out, Ranvir held her hand. He came close to Mahi's ear and said in his seductive tone, "Not now, baby, let's have some fun." With this, he took Mahi's soft lips in his mouth. With this, Mahi's eyes got bigger. Mahi was feeling that she shouldn't have come in front of Ranvir wearing this dress. Ranvir held her hands and put them on her back. He took Mahi in his control. After a passionate kiss, Ranvir moved away from Mahi. But after seeing him in that dress, he started kissing her again. Gradually, Ranvir was breaking his limits. When Mahi realized what Ranvir was going to do to her in future, she suddenly took her dress from her hands. She was shaking her head in disbelief while looking at Ranvir with tears in her eyes. Ranvir was seeing a request in his eyes. He closed his eyes and calmed himself with a deep breath. Then he pointed his head at Mahi and said, "I'm sorry, Mahi, I can't control myself." Ranvir was still taking a deep breath as if he was controlling his desire for Mahi. After a while, he saw Mahi's face, which turned red due to crying. He fixed Mahi's hair and said, "You change and come out, I'm waiting for you outside." Mahi shook her head in agreement like a small child. Then Ranvir kissed her forehead smiling and went out quickly. After a while, Mahi changed and came out. At this time, Ranvir was busy talking to someone on the phone. But as soon as he saw Mahi, he disconnected the phone and held her by the shoulders and said, "Mahi, you will wear such a dress only in front of me. Because it is only my right to see you like this." Mahi shook her head in agreement and bowed her head. Then Ranvir's eyes went to Mahi's neck, where his bite marks were clearly shining in her fair and delicate skin. Seeing him, Ranvir's lips got a bitter smile. Ranvir was finding those bite marks very beautiful on Mahi's neck. Because he had given those marks. But still he didn't want anyone else's eyes to go there. Because Mahi was now his future wife. So he spread the dupatta on her neck so that the marks would be hidden. Then he held Mahi's hand and took her from there. Mahi was sitting quietly in the car. Ranvir's eyes were on the road in front. But his attention was on the farewell with Mahi at that time. Ranvir looked at Mahi, who was still looking out of the window. Then he got a call from an unknown number on his phone. Ranvir knew this number very well. While looking at the phone, a feeling passed on his face. The phone was still ringing. But in front of Mahi, he didn't want to pick up the phone yet. In a while, Mahi's house came. So Mahi went inside without saying anything. Seeing Mahi going like this, he started getting angry. He hit his hand on the steering wheel in anger. Then the servants from inside came to pick up Mahi's luggage. Ranvir pointed at the luggage kept behind him. So the servants went inside with the luggage. Ranvir looked at the window of Mahi's room with a deep look and said, "Just a few more days, Mahi." With this, he got a smile on his face. And he moved the car forward. Mahi's fragrance was still in his breath. He was still able to feel the touch of his body in his hands. He was still in Mahi's thoughts. That's when his phone started ringing again. The same number was being shown on the screen of his phone. Seeing this number, Ranvir's face expression became dark. He stopped his car on the side. He connected his phone to Bluetooth and received the phone. Ranvir said with a devil smile, "Isn't life coming to an end, Khanna, who is calling his death again and again?" Khanna said angrily from the other side, "Now time will tell who will be the death of whom. You killed the king's chair. It doesn't mean that you will do whatever you want." Hearing this, Ranvir said, "When I was not a king, I did what I wanted. So what new did I do today? By the way, you must remember that I took over your Mumbai business a year ago. Do you remember or forget? How I set fire to your Lanka?" Saying this, Ranvir started laughing like a devil. And then he said with a smile, "At that time, I was not even an underworld king." Hearing Ranvir's words, Khanna's body was on fire. Ranvir said with a devil smile, "Why, Khanna, didn't you like to hear the truth? Didn't you like it? By the way, why do I feel that you are very anxious to meet me? Come on, tell me, where do you want to come?" On the other hand, Khanna, who was already on fire, he told Ranvir instead of meeting. Before disconnecting the phone, he said angrily, "Aren't you very proud of your money and power? So Ranvir Roy Kapoor, today you will not be able to save your money, nor your power. Today you will walk into the mouth of death." Saying this, he started laughing like a devil. On the other hand, when Khanna's phone got disconnected, Ranvir looked at his phone and threw it on the seat next to him. Then he said with a devil smile, "Khanna, you have lived enough. Now the day has come for you to die. I am coming." Saying this, he started his car and left. Before going to meet Khanna, Ranvir reached his villa, where he first took a shower and changed his clothes. In black shirt, black blazer and black pant, his color look was looking very hot. Then Ranvir took out a gun from his bedside drawer and kept it on his waist behind his pant. After that, he went to his secret room and came out of there after 10 minutes. After coming out, he called Rudra. And as soon as the phone was picked from the other side, Ranvir said, "If your honeymoon is over, then pay attention to some work. Meet me on the highway in the next 10 minutes. Saying this, he disconnected the phone. Ranvir's face was calm, but there were evil expressions in his eyes. He came out of his villa and sat in the car and left from there at a fast speed. Rudra was waiting for Ranvir, who was waiting for his car. As soon as he saw Ranvir's car, he asked the driver to take his car. Ranvir stopped the car near Rudra. So Rudra quickly sat in it. As soon as Rudra sat down, Ranvir moved his car forward. Rudra asked Ranvir, "What happened that you called me so soon?" Ranvir said only this, "Khanna." Rudra asked in confusion, "Khanna, is he the one whom you had killed a few months ago in a dance bar?" Ranvir said with a smile, "Yes, the same Khanna, whom I had shot 6 bullets in the head of his addicted son." Then he said further, "That's why the whole Khanna is upset and wants to meet me with a firm heart. Come on, let's fulfill his wish today. And let's also introduce him to his son." In a short while, they reached the middle of a dense jungle. In the middle of the jungle, there was a big warehouse, where 10 to 12 tough wrestlers were guarding in black clothes. Seeing those wrestlers, Rudra said, "Khanna has kept good bulls." Ranvir got out of his car. And behind him, Rudra also came out of the car. Seeing Ranvir coming out, 2 of those wrestlers came to him and pointed to them to follow him. They took him to a big hall, where Khanna was sitting in the middle of the sofa and was looking at Ranvir with his burning eyes. Seeing Ranvir, Khanna said, "You have come to your death. I promise you this much. Now I will not let you escape from here." After hearing this, Ranvir put both his hands in his pocket in style and came to the other sofa in front of him whistling. At this time, his sitting style was no less than a king, and his attitude was clearly visible on his face. Ranvir looked at Khanna and said, "Khanna, what do you think? I have come to my death." "No, Khanna, no. You have called your death to you." Then Rudra also sat on the other sofa and said, "Okay, so this is the same Khanna whose son's both hands I had broken. And yes, do you remember? You had broken both his legs." The brother-in-law was shouting. Hearing Rudra's words, Ranvir laughed and said, "Yes, he was making a lot of noise. That's why I put 6 bullets in his head." He immediately calmed down. Hearing both of them, Khanna got angry. He stood up and shouted, "The pain you both gave my son, I will make you suffer 100 times more than that." Ranvir looked at him with his red eyes and said, and when your son did a bad thing to a 15-year-old girl and threw her badly, how much suffering she must have gone through. Did you think about this? The insect of that dirty gut should have given a worse punishment than this. Khanna said, almost going mad with anger, Ranveer Roy Kapoor, look around you. All the men here will beat you and kill you. I will not give you death so easily. I will torture you and kill you. Ranveer, sitting on the sofa, said in a calm tone, Khanna, you have gone mad. Look around you. These are not yours, but my men. After hearing this, where Khanna's face turned white, Rudra started looking at Ranveer. And thought in his mind, when did he do all this? Ranveer looked at Rudra and said, when you were enjoying your marriage. Then Khanna laughed like crazy and said, Ranveer, you lost to me once again. But still you will lose. Do you know why? You listen, I have heard that you are going to marry a very beautiful girl. I have given all the information about your future wife to a man. And he liked that girl so much that he has put some of his men behind her. They will kidnap her very soon. And after that, they will take her abroad and sell her. And you know what happens to beautiful girls there? What happens? Hearing Khanna's words, Ranveer's fists tightened with anger. Blood came down in his eyes. Khanna once again said with devilish laughter, I have seen her photo. Really, what a wonder. Absolutely raw. I also wanted to put her on my bed once. Khanna was able to say so much that Ranveer and Rudra started shooting at him. Ranveer shot all the bullets in his head. He kept shooting until his gun was completely empty. Khanna has given information about Mahi to someone. Will Ranveer be able to save Mahi from this future danger? To know more, keep listening to Oh Baby only on Love Pulse Diaries.